There's a room inside you. It has 50 doors. Behind each door, a different version of you is waiting. Some of them have already done what you are still trying to do. Some have already healed what you are still carrying. Some have already become the person you are slowly becoming. This channel is a sanctuary you can return to every night, a place where you meet one of these selves. Witness them, listen, drift off in their presence, and wake up very gently, more in alignment with the day ahead. We call it the Council of 50. Before we begin, there's something you should know. This practice does not ask you to believe anything. You may believe in God. You may believe in many gods. You may believe in saints, ancestors, spirit guides, or the universe. You may believe in your higher self, your future self, your soul. You may believe only in your unconscious mind, or in the part of your brain that imagines, or in nothing at all beyond the silence between thoughts. Whoever you believe is in this room with you tonight, they are welcome here. This practice asks you to believe nothing. It asks only that you sit with the version of yourself you would like to become and listen. The mechanism is yours to choose. If you're a Christian, you may understand this room as a place of prayerful imitation, a quiet space where the better self that Christ calls you toward becomes a person you can meet. If you're a Muslim, you may understand it as fitra speaking to fitra, the soul's natural orientation toward goodness made vivid for one quiet hour. If you are Jewish, you may understand it as the Yetzer Hadav made present, the good inclination granted a face and a voice. If you are Hindu, you may meet your Atman here. If you are Buddhist, you may meet a part of self that points toward no self. If your tradition is older than any of these, indigenous, ancestral, oral, then your ancestors and your guides are welcome at this table. If you're spiritual but not religious, this room is your higher self made specific. If you're a scientist, this is parts work. Internal family systems. Your future self speaking to your present self. Your prefrontal cortex rehearsing the patterns it will fire tomorrow. If you're an athlete, this is mental rehearsal. If you're a philosopher, this is virtue practice. If you're a skeptic, this is a useful fiction. And useful fictions have changed the world. If you believe in nothing at all, you are still welcome here. The room asks no toll at its door. Why 50? Not one. Not infinite. 50. Not one. Because you are not oneself. You are many. A version of you who is patient lives next door to a version who is tired. A version who has forgiven everyone who hurt you lives down the hall from a version still carrying that anger. A version who finished what you started lies across from a version who has not. You're a council of selves, not a single voice. Not infinite, because the mind needs a frame to enter. Infinity is a feeling. 50 is a doorway. 50 is enough variety for any night you might find yourself in. Few enough that you can return to the same one tomorrow if they help. 50 is the number of selves your mind can hold without losing them. Here is what happens every night you return. You will descend slowly into the room. You will see 50 doors. On some nights, one of them will pull at you. Maybe it is the door of the self who has already forgiven everyone. Maybe the door of the self who is at peace with money. Maybe the door of the self who said the difficult thing they needed to say. Maybe the door of the self who finally rested. You don't choose. You are drawn. Step through. Inside the room is a single version of you waiting. They look like you, but quieter. They have lived through what you are still living through. They have nothing to prove and nothing to ask. The first thing you do is witness, not speak. Witness. See what is different about them. The way they hold their shoulders. The way their eyes rest. The way they breathe. Then, when you're ready, you may listen. They will not lecture you. They will not give you a list. They will simply be the person you are becoming, and their presence will speak. Some nights you will ask them a question. Some nights you will not. Some nights you will fall asleep in a room with them, and that is exactly what was meant to happen. A word about choice. The practice does not depend on free while being real. It does not depend on free while being an illusion. It works either way. If your choices are entirely free, then meeting these selves expands what you choose. If your choices are entirely determined, then meeting these selves rehearses the patterns that will fire tomorrow, whether you intend them or not. Either way, you wake up changed by who you sat with. The mechanism is yours to debate. The practice is the same. A word about mindfulness. Mindfulness is the substrate that makes this work. Mindfulness is simply noticing what is here, not what should be here, not what was here yesterday. What is here now? When you enter the room, mindfulness is what lets you actually meet the self in front of you, instead of the version of them you were expecting. You do not need to be good at mindfulness. You only need to be willing to notice. A word about intention. Intention is gentler than goal. A goal is something you achieve. An intention is a direction you face. When you enter this practice, the only intention required is, I am willing to meet the version of me I am becoming. That is enough. The room handles the rest. A word about higher powers. If you believe in one, this room is your meeting place with the better self that power calls you toward. If you do not, this room is still the meeting place with the better self you would call yourself toward. Either way, the conversation is the same. Either way, the silence after the conversation is the same. Here is how to use this channel. Each video is one episode. Each episode meets oneself. Each runs about 2 hours. Each is designed to be listened to with your eyes closed, your screen dark, your phone face down. You will not need to follow along. You will not need to remember anything. The practice is built to dissolve into your sleep. If you fall asleep in the first 10 minutes, that is a success. If you fall asleep in the last 10 minutes, that is a success. If you fall asleep before you ever meet the self you came to meet, you may still wake up changed. The unconscious mind is excellent at finishing the work the conscious mind began. You may return to the same episode many nights in a row. This is not a podcast you're racing through. This is a practice you're building. Some cells you will need to visit 50 times before you wake up like them. Some you will visit once and never again. Both are correct. The room is open every night. The 50 doors are always there. The council is always waiting. When you press play on the next video, the descent begins. Welcome to the Council of 50. Sleep well, friend.